Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Literary Apothecary and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do my December reading wrap up and my January TBR. Happy New Year! This is of course our last wrap up for 2023 and our first TBR for 2024 in the new year. Finishing up 2023, I finished 13 books, which included 2 5-star books, 4 4.5 stars, 5 4 stars, 2 3.5 stars, and 1 sad DNF. I'm gonna go through these really quickly on what I finished because you've all seen my videos before, so you know what I've been reading, but just as a quick refresher, then we'll go into my carryovers. Only 3 this month going into January, and then my January TBR, which you'll notice is a lot shorter than normal. So the books that I finished in December include Weird Sisters by Terry Pratchett. This one I gave 4 out of 5 stars, and I have one quote from this book: "Words can change the world." And I enjoyed seeing our characters interact in this world and seeing kind of Inkmorpork in a different point of view. Yes, it takes place in a different part of the world, a different world, but we hear about the world of Guards and the City Watch series in this book, and so that was really exciting for me. I finished My Hungry Friend by Danielle Barnett. This one I gave 4 out of 5 stars also. Legacy of the Bright Watch, 5 out of 5 stars. This is one of my favorite books this year. This is definitely gonna be my favorite book that I finished in December. This was a self-pub book I read by Crystal Machar, and I loved this book so much. This is a great dark fantasy. It's very grim but filled with hope too, and it has great parental figures in there. So if you're looking for a fantasy book with good parents in it, go check out Legacy of the Bright Watch. One quote for you all, and this captures the true spirit of found family for me. "Sometimes it takes you a while to find your true family, but when you do, you know it in your bones." After that, I finished Becoming by Michelle Obama, which is also another 5 out of 5 star rating for me. And my quote from Michelle Obama's memoir is, "Even when it's not pretty or perfect, even when it's more real than you want it to be, your story is what you have, what you will always have. It is something to own." You have to own up to your story and make it what you want it. Molting of a Queen by Peter J. Foote. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. This was one of my novellas for the Sphinx competition. We are in the semifinals now, which you'll hear about in just a minute, and I am so excited for this round. Knife of Dreams, which was book 11 in the Wheel of Time series, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. This was my patron pick for December, and I've got one quote for you all. "Sometimes pizza night is more than enough," and that is so true. Sometimes you just want a simple pizza night, and no matter how fancy you get, how many fancy things you have, fancy dinners you go out to, sometimes you just want that simple pizza night. Tale of Our Time was my 1 DNF for the month. There was just too many formatting issues for me to be able to concentrate on the book. I couldn't figure out what the book was about because my brain just kept focusing on all of these formatting issues. Seasons of Albadan by Alain Marche and Christopher Warman. This one I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This was my self-pub book for December. Lost Books and Old Bones by Paige Shelton. I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. This was a buddy read with Stacy. Valperga by Mary Shelley was another 4-star. And then we get to my last 3 books of December, and these were the first 3 semi-finalists for the Sphinx Novella Championship series. I have 2 more novellas I have to read in January, which you'll hear about on my January TBR. But the 3 that I finished in December include A Sorrow Named Joy by Sarah Chorn. This one I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. Night Was a Song in Minor Key, and that just gives you that kind of melancholy, calm, peaceful tone of this book. A Necromancer Called Gam Gam by Adam Holcomb, I also gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. This one was so much fun. It's about this old woman, this grandma. Her name is Gam Gam, and she is a necromancer, and she knits hats and scarves and socks and sometimes sweaters for her undead, because she says just because they're undead doesn't mean they have to be neglected, and I love that book so much. The last book I finished in December, The Collector's Lost Things by Jessica A. McMinn. This one I also gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. This was the third semi-finalist for the Sphinx Championship Series. Again, I have 2 more left. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but that is my wrap up for December and 2023. Starting hopefully later today, maybe tomorrow morning, I will start in on filming my Battle of the Books for my books that I read in 2023. You'll hear all about the rules for that at the beginning of the first video. I'm so excited for that. That's kind of my way of doing my favorite books I read in 2023, the top books of 2023. I am terrible at picking favorites. I get such anxiety picking favorites of just about anything. Then I discovered this format from Michael Knipp, and I've fallen in love with it ever since. So I do it every year, but I don't start it until January. That way I can capture all of the books that I finished in the month. So look for videos on that coming very soon. So 3 books I'll be carrying over from December into January. These include Bounty by J.D. Cunningham. This was a self-pub pick I had for a previous month that I didn't get to it, but my TBR jar chose that one. Book of Night by Holly Black, another book on my TBR that I hadn't quite gotten to yet this year, or maybe last year, I forget when I was supposed to read it. This one is an interesting one. It's a dark fantasy, and our main character is like a shadow thief. Their magic goes along with shadows and whatnot, and she steals things in the shadows. And so it's really interesting. I can't wait to see where it goes. And then the last book that I'm carrying over from 2023 into 2024 is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I started the audiobook of this back, I think, on Christmas Eve. It's narrated by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and she does such a fabulous job with this book. I'm enjoying this audiobook so much. So that leaves me with my January 2024 TBR, our first TBR of 2024. This includes The Gathering Storm, of course, Wheel of Time, book number 12, and this is the first book that Brandon Sanderson picked up after Robert Jordan passed. The Garden Gnome by Jeff McIntyre. I am looking forward to this so much. I love the cover of it with the little gnome on the front, and I can't wait to read what this book is all about. The Delve by Danny Finn. This was a last minute ad I added literally last night while I was talking to Danny and Crystal and Connor on Twitter, and I was like, yep, I'm gonna support Danny this year. I've got one book on my January TBR of his, and I've got another one coming up later this year, maybe February, March. Black Veil by Christian Britain. This is, I think, book 4 in the Green Rider series. This was my patron pick for a January pick by none other than Josephine. I have 2 novellas, the last 2 semifinalists for the Sphinx Championship Series. Bad Grains by Suzanne Schmidt and The Demon's Dagger by Douglas Lumsden. Based on the first 3 semifinalists I read, I am so excited to read these last 2. It's going to be a very close call between my top 2 books. And then, of course, we have our Joan Didion essay of the month, which I hope to read later today. That's Notes Toward a Dream Politic. I have no idea what it talks about or even what a dream politic is, but I can't wait because I love me some Joan Didion. So that was my reading wrap up for December, my January TBR. Of course, let me know in the comments below what was your favorite reading moment from December, and what are you looking forward to reading the most in January. As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. Keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.